For today's lesson, we will be looking at 2.2, dividing integers. Your essential question, is the quotient of two integers positive, negative, or zero? How can you tell? What are the rules for dividing integers? So in 2.1, we looked at the rules for multiplying integers. Well, we're in luck because the rules for dividing integers are the exact same. Same signs, positive, different signs, negative. So if I divide two positives, the same signs, I get a positive. If I divide two negatives, I get a positive. And then if I divide two numbers that are different signs, I get negative answers. So luckily for us, you do not have to remember any new rule. It is the same for multiplying or dividing, right? They're the exact same. So dividing integers with the same sign, again, same signs, positive. So 8 divided by 2, or 8 cut in half, is 4. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Different signs. So I know 8 cut in half is 4. This is a negative. This is a positive. So different signs will give me a negative answer. All right, now let's take a look at this example. So find negative 18 divided by negative 6. Well, remember, this is a negative, so we have to make sure we know if it's positive or negative, divided by a negative. Okay, two negatives have the same sign, so my answer is going to be a positive. Now, all I have to know is what's 18 divided by 6. You don't know that, maybe you know 6 multiplied by what gives you 18. Like, let's go backwards, right? Division is just the opposite of multiplication. So if we have a lot of students that sometimes will tell me, I don't know my division, I can't do this. Well, hopefully you know your multiplication. And if you don't know your multiplication, then a lot of your composition books have a multiplication table in the back, or you can just look up a multiplication table so that we can practice this, right? We're not going to get good at this if we're not practicing. It's like a sport. There's very few people, or maybe no one, that is born good at a sport, is just good even if they don't practice, right? Athletes have to practice every time or practice consistently to always try to improve or maintain their level. Math is the same. We can't, if we're not good at this now, if you're not practicing it, you're not going to get good at it, right? We have to practice. We have to try to have a growth mindset and think that we will be able to solve this eventually. I don't want to hear us saying, I don't know this. I'd rather you say, I don't know this yet, right? Have that growth mindset that we will eventually be able to figure this out. So same signs, give me a positive. 18 divided by 6, all right, is a 3. Or 6 multiplied by 3 gives me 18. So that is why my answer is 3. Okay, there's some practice problems. We'll go over them in a second. And that would actually be it for today's lesson, right? It's a short lesson. So let's go ahead and look at these problems. The reason it's a short lesson is because the rule is not changing. It is the exact same rule that we learned in 2.1 with multiplying. Dividing is just the same. So when we go over these, let's first find out the signs of these. Well, this is a positive. This is a positive. Okay, so my answer is going to be positive because the signs are the same. 14 cut in half, or 14 divided by 2. Again, if you're one of those students that tells me you don't know dividing, let's try multiplying by either, hopefully you know it. If not, we're going to practice our multiplication, look at a multiplication table, and see if we slowly start remembering. 2 multiplied by what number gives me 14? So 2 added how many times gives me 14 and so on. Well, the answer is 7. So your answer is a positive 7. All right. Now let's go ahead and look at number 2. Here's a negative divided by a negative. Again, the signs are the same. So your answer is going to be a positive. 32 divided by 4 gives me what? Or let's go backwards if you have trouble with dividing. 4 multiplied by something gives me 32. Well, that is 8. All right. Let's look at negative. Again, these are the same. So your answer is positive. And 40 divided by 8 gives me what? Or 8 multiplied by some number gives you 40. Well, that answer is 5. 0 divided by negative 6. Well, 0 divided by anything, you could also write this. That is going to be 0. Whenever we have a 0 in the numerator, your answer is 0. Right? Whenever the 0 comes first, you're going to have a 0 here. Now, this is written as a fraction. So those of you that are going to tell me I've never been good at fractions or I don't know how to do fractions, this is the same thing as what we just saw up here, right? It's just written vertically as opposed to horizontally. You could rewrite it like this if you wanted to. 49, negative 49 divided by 7. Well, this is the same, negative 49 divided by 7, right? It's just written vertically as opposed to horizontally. Okay, this is a negative. This is a positive. This is a negative. These are positive. Okay, these are different signs. So different, my answer is going to be a negative answer. All right. 49 divided by 7 gives me what? Or 7 multiplied by something gives me 49. You don't know your sevens? Look at that multiplication chart. Or let's start adding sevens until you get to 49. See how many? Well, your answer is 7. So negative 7 is my answer here. All right, let's do one last one. Okay, this is a positive. This is a negative. Again, you can view our one that's going to tell me I don't know fractions. Let's rewrite it right horizontally just by reading it. 21 is first, so I'm going to write 21. Divided by, that's what that line of a fraction means. It's the division portion. So I'm going to write divided by negative 3. All right, so now let's look at, this is a positive. This is a negative. These are different signs. And as we know, different is going to equal a negative. So now my answer is going to be a negative. 21 divided by 3 equals what? Or 3 multiplied by something gives me 21. Let's use our multiplication facts or that multiplication table or chart if you need it. Well, 3 multiplied by 7 is going to give me 21. So your answer is a negative 7. Again, it was a negative because my signs are different. And your rules for multiplying and dividing is different signs is going to give us a negative answer. So your answer was negative here. Okay, I think that is it for today's lesson. If you need help, let me know. Our assignment is Big Ideas 2.2. Let's see how much of this we can get done. Hopefully, we can get a good amount of it done or completely done today. Remember, I'm here to help. Let me know.